What's this? Have any of you read this garbage? Ethan Van Sciver. You're mentioned in the article. Frog. Laughy face. What is this? The Mandalorian is taking heat for its portrayal of women. Now, feminist critics are facing waves inside her. Okay, let's click on this and check it out.
Hello, I start this gangsta show. This the motherfucking thanks I get. Hello, I started this gangsta show. And this the motherfucking thanks I get.
If you're enjoying this content, hit that subscribe button. Join us. Alright, yeah, shake it, move it all around. It's Comic Artist Pro Secrets. My name is Ethan Van Sciver. I am a 26-year veteran of the comic book industry. I am the world's most charming, elegant, eloquent, and yet humble man. I haven't let any of it go to my head. Great big Star Wars fan and trusted member of the media. So what is this? What is this filth? This is fake. I've never heard of this website. Insider. It's got the same lettering as Business Insider, but you've got no business inside her or any of these people. Not at all. The Mandalorian is taking heat for its portrayal of women. That's weird. I thought Mandalorian barely had any women. How could it portray 0 women poorly? How could the Mandalorian, which features apparently only 3 women, and I've seen pictures of them, by the way, they're totally hot. It's like the one woman that I think is notable in the Mandalorian so far is the Mandalorian armorer, who's pretty kick-ass and pretty awesome. I don't know what you'd complain about. Her face is covered up, which is weird because, again, the actress who portrays her is beautiful. So, anyway, what is this about? All right, now feminist critics are facing waves of online harassment. Well, excuse me while I retch. There seems to be a step missing here. Mandalorian is taking heat for its portrayal of women. From who? Who is giving the heat for the Mandalorian and its non-portrayal of women? Well, I guess those are the feminist critics. I guess the feminist critics are the ones who are attacking the people who are making the Mandalorian. I wonder if they're sending waves of online harassment towards the creators of the Mandalorian. And I wonder if the counter-criticism towards those crazy feminists, and they are crazy, not all feminists are crazy, just like most of them are. And the ones on Twitter are definitely crazy. So I wonder if the waves of online harassment consist of people saying, hey, I don't agree with you. I think you're wrong. I think your agenda is not more important than my entertainment. What do you think about that? I'm enjoying the show. Why don't you hush up? I wonder if that's the waves of online harassment that these brave feminist critics are receiving for trying to ruin the first good thing that Star Wars has done in a long time, in many years. Disney Star Wars has basically ruined the franchise. They've accidentally stumbled on something that the fans actually like. So real fans are enjoying The Mandalorian. Read, real fans are enjoying The Mandalorian. I guess other people are not. And we scroll down here and take a look. Look at him. Yeah, brave, The Mandalorian. Look at that. Look at the T right in his mask. Testosterone. Sorry, ladies. I'm sorry. We love you, but this one isn't for you. This one wasn't made for you. Do you understand? Who wrote this? Can't see. Oh, Cat Tembarge. This one wasn't made for you. I'm sorry. It just wasn't. Okay, you're going to have to accept that not everything is for you. Some things are for us. This is for us, not for you. All right, so get over it. Pedro Pascal stars as the bounty hunter. Here we go. After the first episode of The Mandalorian, the Disney Plus series in the Star Wars universe that became the top streaming hit of 2019, aired on the platform, some Twitter users expressed frustration at how few women spoke and how few female characters there were in general. Some of those who tweeted included well-known feminist critic and con artist, scammer, liar, Anita Sarkeesian, were met with dogpiling and waves of harassment across social media platforms. Well, that's what happens when you are a controversial political figure with an enormous platform and a huge mouth. That's what happens. Trust me, I know. I am also controversial. I also receive waves of harassment. A lot of it is going to come from this article that I did not permit an interview. I didn't say, yes, I'd be happy to comment on this. I didn't do that. This was, I'm going to receive tons of harassment from this, from crazy blue-haired weirdos. Tons of it. Fortunately, I like that, and it's not a problem. The harassment largely stemmed from anti-feminist Star Wars fan accounts, who rounded up and highlighted tweets under the pretense that those complaining were outraged social justice warriors trying to tear down a successful Star Wars franchise. What about that is wrong? By the way, I don't know that this particular Twitter account is anti-feminist. The person that she's speaking of is Data Racer 117. Follow Data Racer, Data, like Data, D-A-T-A, Racer, okay? Like you're racing, you're going fast. 117. A lot of people think that I was saying dad, D-A-D, eraser, as though we were trying to erase fatherhood. And that's what no. Data Racer 117. Follow him. He's being harassed by this person and said, we'd like to interview you. I made a video about it. And I think that's one of the videos that, this weirdo is going to start your next chapter now. From the 340s, move-in homes available. Gorgeous mixed-use community in New Braunfels. Okay. That's nice. I'd like to have this kind of a view here. All right, let's get back to the article. Sorry about that. The ads can sometimes be distracting. The harassment is just the latest instance of feminist fandom voices being shut down online. I wish it were. I wish they were being shut down online, but they're not. They're not being shut down online. They go ahead and they try to, influence and ruin things that weren't made for them. And then they cry victimhood when people say, no, go away. We don't like your ideas. We don't want there to be accounting for the gender, the number of gendered, the number of women in everything. They have to equal this number. We don't want any of that. It just seems phony. It seems artificial. It really distracts us from the storytelling of this thing that we're watching, which just happens to not really be about women. It happens to be about a man rescuing a child. A classic story for the ages. A man can do that too. Isn't that interesting? A man can actually do that. A man can rescue a child, and he doesn't need no woman. He doesn't need a woman to raise a child. This guy is kind of like a single father character. He don't need no woman. He can do it himself. I'm proud of him. I think he's empowered. This Mandalorian is empowered. Anita Sarkeesian is no stranger to online harassment. She isn't. She, will call you a garbage human if she doesn't like you in public in front of everyone. Not a problem. I mean, that's something that she's been known to do. Being one of the central figures in Gamergate. All right, Kat, you guys have to let Gamergate go. It was a long time ago. You can't just be John Rambo going, it's never over. No, it's over. It's over. Resulted in her receiving numerous death and rape threats, along with bomb and shooting threats at her events. By the way, I sympathize. I have been the recipient of many death threats. Almost on a daily basis, people want to kill me. Not so many rape threats. I would be concerned if I started receiving rape threats, but I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if those come around. Along with bomb and shooting threats at my events. Yes, of course, people have threatened to come to where I was making personal appearances. One particular event, Gotham City Pizza in Florida, I received a death threat, a very specific death threat, a threat that if I appeared there, I would be taking my own life in my hands. And I did appear there. Fortunately, nothing happened, but the next morning, a cinder block was thrown through their front glass door and smashed, caused, I think, $1,200 worth of damage. That Comicsgate, God bless them, were able to raise the money to replace the door, for these SJW vandals, criminals, terrorists. We actually took care of that, and it was great. We stand together as a community. Oh my gosh, but even she was surprised at the amount of vitriol her tweet about The Mandalorian received. Well, I don't think so. I think she probably expected it and hoped for it. That's my opinion. My opinion is she put it out there hoping to receive some attention, and she got the attention, and I dare say, I think she got exactly the attention that she was hoping for. How do I know that? Because this article exists. in Insider magazine. Not magazine, it's online. We don't do print anymore. Print's dead. All right, except for Cyberfrog Bloodhoney, print is dead, and all the other Comicsgate books. After watching the first episode of the Star Wars series for Disney Plus, Sarkeesian tweeted if she was just tired, or no, she's definitely tired, or if there wasn't a single female speaking character in the first episode. I knew I liked it. I knew I liked that episode for some reason. It was great. It just felt totally normal. She was exhausted, missing one scene where a woman spoke. See that? I mean, that's an excuse. You're tired. You haven't slept for a little while. And you basically blow your entire point. You know, there was a scene where a woman spoke, and she made a typo in her tweet. Aww. In the replies, Sarkeesian corrected herself, and then she went to bed. In the morning, the tweet had more than 3,000 replies. Yeah, that's great. That's called, what is that called? Engagement? It currently is close to 7,000. Yeah, people didn't like it. People thought it was stupid. And you have a lot of people looking at what you say, Anita. You know, she's popular. I mean, people think about Anita Sarkeesian a lot. She kind of, put herself in that position. I put myself in that position too, so I understand. Let's see. Maybe you should switch to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I'm sure you'll find much to relate to there. There you go. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Go watch that instead. There are a lot of women, and they don't shut up on that show. They don't. I mean, they fight, they hit each other, they throw alcohol at each other. No wonder you're so tired. They say you should stretch before making such reaches, especially at your age. Said another with more than 14. That's very witty. That's clever. It doesn't seem like online harassment to me. They say you should stretch before making such reaches. Very clever. It's an example of dogpiling. Oh my goodness. All of these bon mots launched at Anita Sarkeesian just when she least expected it, right after she attacked the new Star Wars show that's actually making people happy because it's paying attention more to story than identity politics. Anita Sarkeesian never could have seen this happening. Wow, I'm so glad there's an article here. So glad there's an article to illustrate her victimhood. This is an outrage. All right, number of likes and retweets, and mostly are filled with repetitive, hurtful comments. Oh, Twitter's rough. It really is. It's ironic. Women, especially feminists, get accused of being emotional and angry and all these things when all we said was, hey, I noticed this thing, and it's kind of a problem. It isn't a problem. See, that's the thing. It's you notice something that isn't a problem, and you shone a light on it, and people laughed at you. That's all. It's kind of a problem. I think it's really bad for our society, Sarkeesian told Insider. If they didn't reply to it, my tweet would have just been gone. They made it a much bigger deal. A lot of people wanted to make fun of your tweet, Anita. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people want to make fun. One time I tweeted out that I thought the new Muppet Babies character, because I'm watching all these kids shows. I have a daughter. She's watching the new Muppet Babies show, and there's this purple penguin, and she's female. They just threw this penguin in there just because they needed another female Muppet Baby. They could have chosen Lips or any of these other characters that Jim Henson actually created, but instead they created this really dull, personality-less character. It's a purple penguin named Summer. She has no personality. She doesn't resemble a Muppet. She's nothing like every single one of Jim Henson's Muppet Babies has some kind of personality defect that's kind of funny. Except for Kermit, but even he's kind of a cuck. Look, this was something that I noticed. Yeah, you just created this character. You're not as creative as Jim Henson. Shame on you. And that tweet got roasted. I mean, I got roasted because people were like, oh, look at Ethan caring about something that doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter that there are too many female Muppet Babies now. It doesn't matter that one of them sucks. You shouldn't care about such a thing. And I got roasted by people like Anita Sarkeesian. That's the way the internet is. Did I cry? Yeah, I did cry for several days. I barely left my room. Nobody wrote an article talking about my victimhood and how Summer the Penguin does kind of suck. I mean, there's nothing. She's always got the answers. She's leading the Muppet Babies the way they should go. She's super kind. There's nothing weird about her. She's not a Muppet. She's not a Jim Henson character. But no. Nobody came to my defense about that. I guess I need more crazy, lunatic SJW friends who have connections to far left-wing media. All right, so let's get to the part about me. Here's Anita, blah, 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 whatever. Sarkeesian is the most prominent figure facing dogpiling and harassment. Criticism is not harassment. It isn't harassment. Somebody making fun of me for my dumb Muppet, even though it was insightful and true, my dumb Muppet Babies tweet, that's not harassment. That is just criticism, and it's a way of society. It's a way that society tells you to knock it off. That's basically what it is. Society, now that we have the internet, in the old days it used to just be the people around you that would say, you know what, knock it off or we're going to shun you. The Amish are really good at that. But in this day and age, we have the internet. And so more and more people have a way, and they get to tell you, shush. A lot of people get to tell you to shush because that's what the internet does. And when you put your dumb, stupid opinions out there on Twitter, and if you have a large following and you've sought attention for most of your adult life, and you've attained that attention, and you put something out there that's stupid, the internet en masse is going to tell you, hush up. And that's basically what's happening. And is that harassment? Well, maybe if you were a bratty 13-year-old, that you might call that harassment. But if you're an adult, you should recognize it for what it is. It's society trying to correct your idiocy. That's all it is. All right, so we go on here. People with and without large Twitter followings, and some who are verified, many who are not, have found themselves overwhelmed with anti-feminist replies and messages and platforms after tweeting about how few women are in The Mandalorian. Because it's stupid. That's why. Because people who are actually enjoying the show do not want SJWs to interfere with the show. Fortunately, I don't think they're going to be able to. I think the show is already wrapped. I think all 8 episodes are in the can. But there might be a season 2. We don't want you to interfere with that either. Just stay out of it. Can you just not ruin something? Do you have to ruin everything? Everything needs to be ruined by you people? Ridiculous. There's Anita. She's lovely. Specifically, in the first episode, there's one female character wearing a mask who speaks, and 2 female characters total, along with a few women spotted as extras in the background of shots. That's plenty. More female characters are expected to play larger roles in future episodes. That sounds fine. What are you complaining about? Ostensibly, the show is about a man. That's all. And a little baby. That's what the show is about. Okay? He's singular. He's a singular figure. He's a bounty hunter. There's no large ensemble cast, really. It's just about one guy and the crummy world that he lives in. All right, so even if you wanted to give the show benefit of a doubt, say there's some big wild justification that's going to come around in episode 7, it feels wrong that the vast majority of this world is populated by men or male-identified characters. It doesn't, though. Most people are saying it feels right. The success of the show should demonstrate to you that most people, okay, you are the minority when you say it feels wrong. Most people are like, no, that feels good. It's like a breath of fresh air. Can these feminists please shush so they don't ruin something that we really, really like? And guys, you've got to actually call them out while this is happening. This is the thing. SJWs want to infiltrate this show. They want to destroy this show. Call them out and tell them no right now. And that's what I think people are trying to do here. All right, online harassment in the Star Wars fandom, particularly of women, is nothing new. Actresses like Daisy Ridley were harassed. They were harassed by Reylos, who are generally SJWs and feminists. People who enjoy the idea of fantasizing about Daisy Ridley having real-life intercourse with Adam Driver to the point where they stalk and harass both of their families. Daisy Ridley has been a victim of these Reylos. It is a sensitive topic to her and to her co-star Adam Driver. I do agree. Those Reylos should shut the F up and probably, get off the internet or face some kind of criminal punishment. I wouldn't be opposed to that. I wouldn't be opposed to people facing criminal justice who stalk and take pictures of Adam Driver's car where it's parked, tweet about it. Things like I'd consider that. I would if you made an argument about why that person should go to prison or the electric chair, I'd be like, let me consider that for a little while. Let me think about your argument. Kelly Marie Tran was not harassed off the internet. That is a lie. That is a lie that's been perpetrated by Lucasfilm, probably Disney, in order to create a victimhood narrative. which is what they need to do in order to demonize and silence the dissent of their former fans. Kelly Marie Tran has never once claimed that she was harassed off of Instagram. It's never happened. She was never interviewed and discussed that. I think she's been exploited. I think her words were, miscarried, taken the wrong way, and it's shameful. It's shameful. Rose Tico's wonderful. All right, yeah, it's awful. The Star Wars community. A lot of people just facing a lot of just harassment. All right, what is this here? Who cares? Fast forward here. Where's the part about me? Yeah, more Kelly Marie Tran nonsense. In the case of The Mandalorian, almost anyone who tweets about the show from a feminist perspective is at risk of being targeted. Beep, 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 beep. Targeted feminists, targeted fire criticism missiles, fire counter argument ICBMs. Boom! Oh my God, it's targeted harassment. Because Star Wars fans are rounding up tweets that criticize things like the amount of time it took for a woman to speak in the first episode. That seems stupid to me. Does it seem stupid to you? Evidently it doesn't, but it seems stupid to most people. And when you find yourself in the minority of the group, when people are saying are wondering if something is or isn't stupid, you should really kind of reconsider that. You should think about that. Most people are saying counting the minutes and the minutes until a woman speaks in a TV show called The Mandalorian about a singular bounty hunter saving a baby from the oppressive empire, which has just collapsed. What's left over, the warlords of the formerly of the empire. If you're sitting there watching that show, going, "I'm just dying to hear a woman talk right now," and I'm counting the minutes. I'm counting the minutes until they do. There might be something wrong with you, and society probably needs to readjust your perspective, and they'll do that by making fun of you on Twitter. It works every time. Well, almost every time. Okay, one account rounded up 33 of these tweets with the caption, "SJWs are outraged over the lack of female characters in the first episodes of The Mandalorian, a show with 3 female characters. Feminists only care about counting the number of minutes women are on screen in Star Wars." Now, that is Data Racer 117. What an incredibly insightful, profound, and true statement that was. And that's why Data Racer 117 received so much engagement for that tweet, and people were high-fiving him, telling him he's right. That's right, except for this person who actually said, "I'm going to be writing an article about you." Here's the article. All right, so Insider spoke with 2 people whose tweets were featured in the roundup, who said their tweets were mischaracterized, inspiring a wave of online hate. If your tweets were mischaracterized, it's your fault. You were not expressing yourself clearly. When you said, "Oh, this is terrible that there are no women in The Mandalorian and they don't talk," maybe you should have phrased that differently, like, "It's perfectly okay that there are very few women in The Mandalorian, and the show's not about them, and it's probably, if I'm looking for feminism in The Mandalorian, probably this show wasn't for me." So that's, if you had rewritten your tweet to say that instead of what you actually typed, probably your tweet wouldn't have been mischaracterized as stupid. And that's something to think about. That's something to think about. Both of the people who spoke with Insider said they like The Mandalorian and will continue watching it. That's exactly right. But wanted to point out that it could be better in terms of female representation. That's your opinion. My opinion is no. It's doing just fine as it is. One woman who spoke to Insider anonymously because she is trying to distance her name from the situation says the harassment began several days after she posted her initial tweet about a lack of women in the first episode. After receiving anti-feminist replies on Twitter, she also started getting harassed across platforms, in part because other anti-feminist Star Wars accounts picked up the screenshots of her tweet after it was first included in the roundup and distributed to an even wider audience, including Instagram. See, this is the problem with using Twitter to express your stupid views. Twitter does not protect any copyright claims over your tweets. Once you tweet them out there, they are public domain. They're literally public domain. They're like Sherlock Holmes or Dracula. You can put them anywhere, and people are going to criticize them across all kinds of platforms, and they're going to make fun of you if you say something dumb. They're going to make fun of you. So think twice before you tweet out something that's inflammatory and stupid, because this is what happens. And is it harassment? I think, again, it's society kind of trying to get you in line. That's my opinion. Society trying to get you in line. Straighten up. All right, one person even left a violent message for her in the email submission from her professional website. It reads, "People like you don't deserve an effing opinion, but at least I'm glad you can voice it. Doesn't prevent you from calling you king for spouting your misandry. How does it king feel? C-word. I hope you expire and never have children." Now that's inappropriate, and that's the kind of thing that goes too far. And if this kind of if this person is watching this video, and maybe idiots like this don't watch my content. My content is pure as the driven snow. But I condemn this. You shouldn't be sending this kind of garbage to people. But you can absolutely tell her thoughts are stupid. And that's what Twitter is for. There's nothing wrong with that. I had to put everything on private for my own mental health, she told Insider. I just had to shut down my profile. I will never, ever, ever tweet about Star Wars again. That's a good idea. And I love Baby Yoda so much, but I just can't. They won. Life's too short for me to fight this fight. Well, it shouldn't be a fight. It shouldn't be something you're fighting about. But you did. You picked a fight. So even after setting her accounts to private, she was inundated by hundreds of follow requests on Twitter, along with DMs sent to her private Instagram. Could be that some of those were people who actually supported what you said. The SJW Star Wars community is huge, fast, and troubled. And I'm sure that they, probably wanted to be supportive of you. All right, where's the part about me? Oh, here we go. The person who tweeted the roundup of critics didn't want to share any identifying information with Insider, but did stand behind the tweet and said they didn't participate in or encourage harassment. Of course not. But the reach of the account became clear once Insider asked for comments in the replies. Within a few hours, a video had been uploaded. Yes, that's me. See, people are saying that I'm not uploading enough videos and I'm not doing it quick enough. Look at this. Within a few hours, I had uploaded a video actually responding to this person who had basically threatened Data Racer 117 with a hit piece. I know all about this stuff. I've been through this. So I'm on top of it. I'm releasing new videos. I'm recording videos. Of course I am. Which had not been written yet. To YouTube from a channel with more than 130,000 subscribers. 132, but we're pushing for 133. So if you're listening to this and you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe. We're right on the brink of hitting 133,000, and I'll still just be more than 130,000. But I'm working on it, guys. We're trying to get this channel together. All right, what did I say? The video in question has been viewed more than 33,000 times. Let me just check and see if it's monetized, because that would be, I hope I'm monetized for that video. 33,000 views is a lot. No, it's not. It's not monetized. So big deal. Who cares? Who cares if I got 33,000 views? I didn't monetize it. I should have. God, I probably lost like a few $100. I got to be more mercenary. I got to think more about the money when it comes to YouTube. All right, so it highlights the mentality in at least one corner of the Star Wars fandom that is male-dominated and is aggressive towards diverse media representation. All right, let's check out what I said here. I guess this is a quote from me. What SJWs do as soon as this kind of thing happens, they identify the Twitter account that posted the roundup as hostile to their narrative. I would call them left-wing garbage. No, you skipped a whole lot there. This ... left-wing garbage is what I was calling the media outlet. Insider, in other words. Left-wing garbage. That would be the media outlet that you would write a crappy article about them about. How dare you misquote me? This is absolutely dishonest. This is flagrant dishonesty. And I'm just reading this live right now with you guys. I didn't read this before. This is flagrant dishonesty. See this ... in the brackets? This means I've cut out a whole part of what Ethan said. I skipped a whole part of it that would add context. Now you see, when complaining about your statements being taken out of context, which is what this article does, and how unjust that is, and how it leads to harassment, it's a shame that the person who wrote this article would also commit an incredibly similar crime by not giving me the context that my statement actually implied. This is it. Hostile to their narrative, and I would say, and then they go to a, what did I say? Some kind of tabloid news article or news place, like I said I would call them left-wing garbage. Even now, I'm trying to find the words to explain what this is, but they basically write articles for left-wing tabloid news sites like BuzzFeed, and like Vulture, and like I guess Inside Her. I've never heard of this site before. I would call them left-wing garbage, and I still do. I call this site, I call BuzzFeed, I call Vulture, I call Daily Beast left-wing garbage. Okay, so you can quote me on that, but at least get the get it right. The voiceover of the YouTuber Comic Artist Pro Secret says in the video, they're going to come in and write an article smearing the Twitter account. See, there's the context. Don't you dare shine a light on these cockroaches in such an effective way ever again, I said, of Data Racer. The YouTuber mocked, referring to the feminist critics as the cockroaches in the situation. Well, SJWs in general, but yes, specifically feminist critics would be cockroaches or leeches, or any kind of parasitic insect that invades and destroys. Termites would also work, any of that, because that's what they want to do. Star Wars actually has a show that's working right now called The Mandalorian, and already feelers are being put out. And do they really care? Do they really care about The Mandalorian that much? I'm not so sure. I just think this is a power grab. That's my opinion. These people are like, here's another thing that we can wreck, that people like. Let's see. This is a strategy that these sort of anti-progressive, very aggressive cyber mobs have used for years. Speaking on YouTube, telling people the truth, Sarkeesian said. They try to use social justice language against us when we try to bring these issues up, but it's so transparent and so obvious what they're trying to do by undermining our point. It's very, very bad faith. It's very bad faith. Best it would be nice if I could get a baby Yoda, but I gotta have faith. All right, what else? A writer and programmer David Eli, a male whose tweet was included in the roundup, told Insider that his replies were pretty tame in comparison to Sarkeesian and the other women. No, I made fun of him. I think I lisped his tweet. And the other women Insider spoke to, although he did receive one unspecified death threat from an account that he blocked. That's what happens on the internet. It is the Wild West. It's full of bad mamma jammas. All right, part of the response seems to come from a belief that Star Wars shouldn't be political, that it be pure entertainment. Here we go again. They're like, Star Wars shouldn't be political, that's what they say. Well, we think it should be, as long as the politics are left-wing. Now, if Star Wars actually became far right-wing, or what these people would call alt-right, they'd be screaming to the high heavens. Indeed, that's what's happening here. Mandalorian seems to be, from their perspective, by not including enough diverse female representation, it's striking a note that it is political, and that was a political assault, and they need to respond in kind. So, who cares? All right, we are so accustomed to male-dominated narratives that it's easy to not even notice glaring omissions, she said. Unlike, I know, because it's nice, it's comfortable. People like it, and we've talked on my channel about why people like The Mandalorian, including women. Most women are really enjoying The Mandalorian because it strikes a note with them. Baby Yoda is adorable. Every woman likes babies. Most women like babies. And women like to watch powerful men show their softer side by caring for a baby and taking care of a baby. And that is why The Mandalorian has hooked a huge female audience that is not crazy, okay? That isn't crazy. That is kind of, they're demonstrating this is what women want to watch. Unlike if the entire cast had been women, I suspect everyone would have immediately noticed that, regardless of what one's opinion would be on that casting choice. Well, I don't know. Charlie's Angels works and all that, you know. If the cast were all women and the show called for all women, a show about all female characters within Star Wars, I don't think anybody would care, because that would be part of the story. It's story, story, story. Story first, ladies. Story first, Kat. Story first, Anita. Politics way, 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 way in the distant 50th. Your ideas about just jamming and cramming and shoehorning, unrelated, unnecessary female characters into a show that where they don't belong, where they would stand out like a sore thumb, and you know what those stand out like? They don't work. It's unnecessary. It's, dare I say it, it's a toxic idea. It's a toxic suggestion. It would kill and has killed Star Wars pretty much dead. So thank you, Cat 10 Barge, for this amazing article. Thank you for quoting me and almost quoting me accurately. You removed a bit of context, which was dishonest. You are a filthy liar. I will say that. You are a dirty liar because of that one thing. But you got the part about the cockroaches correct, and for that I appreciate it. I do want to send a shout out to all the beautiful women, female Star Wars fans, who are enjoying The Mandalorian with us, who understand that The Mandalorian is a story first exercise in getting Star Wars back on track again. You ladies who are digging The Mandalorian, I'm right there with you. I love you. Thank you for being a fan of Star Wars when they get it right, and thank you for being a fan of Comic Artist Pro Secrets. Glad to have you here. Thanks, everyone. Like this video, share this video. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet, and don't harass any of these people. Obviously, you don't have to do that, but if they write dumb things on Twitter, don't let any dummy tell you that you're not allowed to write back to them and criticize their comments. If you can't handle social media, if you can't handle Twitter, get off of Twitter. That's my advice to you. All right, everyone. See you later. Hey, I got a P.O. box. Want to send me some mail? Send it to Ethan Van Sciver, P.O. Box 607, Marlton, New Jersey, 08053. And I'll probably open it up on a live stream. Thanks very much, everyone. Hey, you want to follow me on Twitter? Are you sure? Well, if so, I'm at Ethan Van Sciver. That's at Ethan Van Sciver. See you there.